Hey guys, this is Melissa Zad for Into Boxing, and I am so delighted to be joined by none other than the man himself, Mr. Peter Fury. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's a pleasure.
It was such a cracking press conference, wasn't it? I mean, the energy was just electric in there. What did you make of the whole thing?
I think it's amazing. You know, when you look at it as a whole for women's boxing, it couldn't be any better. You know, clash of personalities. You know, American accent with the English accents. You know, we've got a mixture of everything. So it's really good. I liked the Michaela Mayer and Boone Gardner head to the backwards and forwards. You know, it's just. I think it's a real class event, this, and we're going to see it on the night as well. I think it's just amazing, the clash of personalities, the self-belief that these fighters has got, and I think it's going to play out on the night. I think we're in for an amazing night. I've always said this will be a standalone night in women's boxing. I think this launches it.
Do you know what? I mean, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, because there is a lot to unpack just from watching the press conference, let's talk a little bit about the other fights on the card. You know, you've mentioned the co-main event. A lot of people are so excited about the co-main event, mostly because there's so much bad blood between the two fighters. What would your predictions be?
The prediction is this, you know, when fights are so close, you know, I just tell my fighter, Savannah Marshall, get in there, do what you've worked on, you know, expect a hard night's work, you know, so she's going in there prepared to dig into the trenches, you know, and that's what she's prepared to do. So she's prepared to take shots, to give them, you know, that's it. It's going to be a thrilling, entertaining fight, this, you know, and it's what it comes down to. The game plans are there, we know what's what. It just comes down to who wants it the most.
I mean, as you say, you know, a lot of the fights on this card, they are going to be a hard night's work for the boxers involved. Sure. You know, there's no real easy fights, particularly, you know, in the later section when it goes to broadcast. In terms of, obviously, other than the main event, which you're very invested in, what fights are you particularly looking forward to hearing about afterwards? Because I imagine you'll be quite busy.
You know, I'm so busy. You know, I look at the co-main event. I've got April Hunter on as well. And I'm not sure about what other fights are on. Yeah, I think there's the other ones, the Olympians. I'm looking at those. All the good fights. You know, there's a lot of good fighters, a lot of good young talent there. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I asked the question when we were in the press conference, what do you feel like an event of this profile and this magnitude will do for women's sport and more specifically for women's boxing?
I think it's like I said, it's going to take off like a rocket. And the thing is, I was listening to what young Dubois had to say, and she was basically saying, you know, to be here with these, and you know, to be on the same show. You know, it's hard to believe, and you know, on Savannah, she related to that when she was speaking. You know, it wasn't so long ago when she was looking at these main events, and now she's there. And what it tells all these young fighters coming through, yes, you can do it. You know, this can be you. You know, it's just having that self-belief, determination, but nothing's a given. You have to work hard, dedicate. You know, it's as much about the mind as what it is the boxing. You know, and if you want it bad enough, you can get it.
You know, it's very interesting because you have Savannah Marshall, you also have April Hunter. We've heard, you know, coaches such as Coach Al, you know, he's gone on record to say that he's old school and he wasn't a supporter of women's boxing originally before obviously Michaela Mayer came along and proved herself to be such a hard worker that she is in the ring and out the ring and training. What's your stance on kind of women's boxing and how did you make those adjustments as women's boxing grew?
I was exactly the same as Al. You know, I'm a blood and snot man. You know, they get in the gym, they train hard. You know, I've been around guys all my life, and you know, I've got 3 daughters. You know, and none of them, I'd strongly advise them to keep away from it. You know, so it was new to me. I just seen a young girl come into the gym, very innocent. You know, and she's trying in the boxing. And I related to my own girls, you know, so I give her a little bit of advice because she wasn't my fighter, and she ended up staying with me, and she's converted me, you know, because I was a non-believer. I've seen firsthand, just like Alas, what these women can go through, what it takes, and they've got all the ingredients the same as the men. You know, and I believe that because I've seen it, I witness it. You know, I've got a world champion in Savannah. You know, this is it's an amazing thing. And I think the public are also now realising, hey, hang on a minute, these women are more exciting than the men because they're getting stuck in. It's 2-minute rounds, There's no time to tip a tap up and down. They're throwing serious leather, and they really put it all on the line. So I think it's as soon as it can get on a level playing field with men's, the better. And I'm on about the pay because I believe after tonight it's going to be.
Well, fingers crossed.
I think it's going to be. But obviously the pay needs to come up similar to the men's as well to give them that maximum respect. Hey, what you can do, we can do, and they can. So that's it.
I mean, to be honest with you, one of the other reasons that in my opinion, women's boxing is so exciting is because the pool is much smaller. So they're having to kind of get stuck into the hard fights much quicker than a lot of the guys who have to go through the process of 10 journeymen and then different Southern area titles, etc., until they get to those high-level fights.
You know what amazes me with women's boxing? I've got to be honest with you. You see them with the makeup on, the beautiful faces and all that, and you think, how is this possible? How can you get from that to this? And that always amazes me. I see them, even when they're out of fights. I look at Savannah, all of the fighters. I see the girls up there today, and I think, look, beautiful young women, and look, blood and snot when it turns on. That amazes me, that part of it. So even on that level, everybody's got to look up and say, this is majorly interesting because how do you come from looking like that to boxing and fighting like that? That amazes me.
It's very true. I mean, it really is, because obviously they have their femininity and then they have this real aggression in the ring as well. I do a bit of coaching myself, and I have to say I much prefer coaching women to coaching men, just because I feel that women listen more and they have less ego than guys do.
Yeah, that can be true. I'm fortunate because in the gym I work with and the small round surroundings I work with, I keep my circle small. The egos are left outside the gym.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, but I hear what you're saying. And some guys, they know it all. They know more than the trainer. And I've always said, I've looked at these people that know more than a trainer. Well, you don't need a trainer then. Go and do it yourself. So that's my attitude. When I see that, it's not all fighters. They're the ones in the ring. They're doing it. But all fighters need to listen. Because they need every edge they can get in there, and that's it. There's not trainers and coaches for nothing. Since sport began. So like I said, Lewis Hamilton doesn't go around the racetrack by himself. There's a lot involved. The car, a millimetre over to whatever it is. It's all that. It's a lot of technical stuff involved. So yeah.
Don't go over to coaching Formula One, please.
No, I'd definitely lose.
Do you feel as well, being a father to 3 daughters, as you say, do you feel that it makes you a little bit more protective over Savannah and April?
Yeah, not really, because I'm a realist and I know to be a world champion what you've got to step up to and what you've got to do. So when they come in the gym, they come in the gym. They know the care's just the same as all my fighters. I treat them all the same. Of course you want the best for them. If they're not feeling right, they don't fight. I make sure they're all healthy, they're ready, excited to go. Both Savannah and April, they put a horrendous camp in for this. So maximum credit to Savannah, Clarissa Shields as well, because they've all had to step up. This is what makes boxing, these elite fights, 50-50 fights. No one can predict what's going to happen. All you got to do is get in there, peel off all the stress or all the expectations, put your best foot forward, and let's see who the best is.
Let's get stuck into the main event. Obviously, there's a lot of needle between the two ladies up on stage. It was quite hard to actually hear what was being said the whole time because they were going back and forth. Savannah, I felt, was quite a lot more outspoken than she was at the last press conference. Do you feel that beneath it all there is some sort of respect there?
Absolutely. I'm sure when this fight's ended, regardless of the result, I know Savannah's got no bad feeling towards Clarissa. It's just strictly business for her. We all respect what Clarissa's done. To say that you don't respect what she's done is not people in boxing. She needs maximum respect. I respect her anyway. I respect her as a fighter. The bravado, I'm not really interested in that. It is what it is. As part of the makeup. and it's helped build this fight to where it is. So we'll have to give respect there as well. You know, the way she speaks, outspoken. You know, it's got a lot of attention on this fight. It's a clash of personalities. So I think they both need maximum respect. And I think after the fight, whichever way it goes, I think they'll be friends afterwards. Until probably the rematch or whatever's going to be. If that's the case, I think they'll have a bit of a shake hands, a bit of a cuddle, and maybe have a 1 or 2 minutes. And then if they think there's going to be a rematch clause, they're both going to separate ways and start all over again. So that's what will happen probably.
What did you make of the back and forth between Clarissa and April?
They just, obviously April's Savannah's best friend, and obviously she's very supportive of Savannah. And it's all tongue-in-cheek stuff. It's just like firing the buttons, because anybody confronts Clarissa, she's on them. You know, so it's just a little bit of bravado, really. You know, so there is no dislike. I don't think none of the team are dislikeful to her, really.
I mean, as you say, you know, Clarissa is one of the, as is Savannah, to be honest, one of the trailblazers of women's boxing. So Saturday night is so exciting. We're all really, really looking forward to it. I wish, obviously, you and your team the best of luck. Just quickly before I let you go, obviously last week we had the Eubank Jr. Conor Benn card fall through because of a failed drugs test on the side of Conor Benn, VADA testing. You know, what are your thoughts in hearing that actually it's likely that he's failed a previous test in the past?
It's one of these for me. You know, I just want to see. It's not good for boxing, definitely not, and it's definitely not good for young Ben. It's not good for his father. It's not good for them. But I'm one of these. I'd rather sit back and reserve judgment until the facts come out. If the facts come out and they've done what they've done, solely wrong, and the bans should be right and justful, so as everybody's happy with it. But like I said, I'm not going to condemn anyone until I see the facts, because we don't know the facts. We know there's an adverse finding, but why? Sorry, there could be a lot of reasons for that. I don't know. So I'm not going to jump on anything. I'm not going to criticise anyone. Let's wait and see. My main focus right now is Savannah Marshall and April Hunter, and that's it. Let all the legals carry on with the lawyers. I'm sure they're going to make a fortune out of these adverse findings. Let them do their thing. I'm not really, but look, boxing needs to be a clean sport, so it's good. And I think there's always positive to take from the negatives, because I think UCAD especially will even step up even higher. I think they'll even step to the plate even higher. Even this morning, Savannah's been checked at 6:30 this morning. Normally that wouldn't be the case. So really, if anything, it'll up the ante, because these cheaters do need to be caught, to be honest, because it shouldn't be right. I've got Savannah Marshall here, and she's fighting Clarissa Shields. You can imagine she's doing the best she can, and the opponent, none of them are. They're both VADA tested, they're all clean. But let's just say there was cheating going on there. There's a total disadvantage, and you're robbing that fighter of a lifetime's work. Let it be fair, because it is wrong. So it's good what's happening in that respect. So, they need to get on it, and hopefully it'll get blotted out.
Also, as they say, you don't play boxing. You can't be at the huge advantage going into the ring, risking someone else's life. I mean, that's just science. That's just facts. That's just humanity.
Every time there's a fight, it's like me now. I'm a very religious man. I believe in the blessed Lord. I say my prayers every single day. And you know what I say for this fight? Let the best person win. Let both of them come out healthy, and that's my opinion on it. Obviously I want Savannah to win, but I always say, let both fighters come out healthy, and that's it. We can all go home, and they can all reflect and come back. It's a sport at the end of the day. That's why I say bad feeling, there isn't any. This is a sport, and it should be like that.
Peter Fury, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.